Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een, amma ba'd. So I've been asked some questions in the recent days about Hajis wanting to do Qiran. And then when I listened to what they thought Qiran was, I then understood that there's a big misunderstanding of what exactly Qiran Hajj is. So Hajj is of three types: the Qiran Hajj, the Tamattu Hajj, and the Ifrad Hajj. The Ifrad is when you just go there and you're only going to do a Hajj until, from the beginning of the Dhul Hijjah, you're only going to do a Hajj. And then after that you may do some Umrahs afterwards, but that doesn't really count as long as you've done the Hajj and you've only made an intention for Hajj. That's a simple one. Then you have the Tamattu Hajj, which is what most people do nowadays, which is they go first, because they go a few days earlier, they go and they do a full Umrah, which means one tawaf, one sa'i, they cut their hair, they come out of Ihram, they wait as many days as it is until the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, they put another Ihram on this time for Hajj, and then they start their Hajj procedure. So those are very clear. Now the Qiran is a bit of a complicated one in the sense that there are two views as to what Qiran is. The one view about Qiran, which is what you'll usually see online if you do a search for it, is that Qiran is just like the first Hajj, the Ifrad Hajj. You're not doing any Umrah beforehand. You go there, you do a tawaf, not for Umrah, because you're not doing an Umrah first. You're doing a tawaf al-Qudum. Then after that, you're doing a sa'i in advance of the Hajj. You're doing it in advance. And then after that, you go and do the rest of the things of Hajj. And that's done. So it's like Ifrad, exactly like Ifrad, except that you might do the sa'i beforehand of Hajj. And then you have to give a al-shukr. You have to give that sacrifice for allowing you to do Qiran. There's nothing extra in there. It's just like Ifrad. The only thing they say is that you give a special sacrifice at the end. That's it. Now the Hanafis, when they say that Qiran is the superior of all three, what they mean by that is what the Prophet ﷺ, we say, did. When he got there, he did a Umrah first. He did an Umrah, which means he did a tawaf, and because he had taken an animal with him for sacrifice, he couldn't come out of Ihram. So he intended both Umrah and Hajj together, we say. So he did the tawaf first of the Umrah, then he did the sa'i of Umrah, and then after that, he told everybody else, if you don't have an animal with you, you can come out of Ihram and make it Tamattu, and then come back into Ihram and Hajj days begin. I can't do that because I've got an animal with me. So anybody who takes an animal, hadi as they call them, then they're not allowed to break in between. So I'm going to have to stay in Ihram. Then when the days of Hajj came, that's when he then started the Hajj. So in this, he got a Umrah first, without coming out of Ihram, and then he did the Hajj. So it's two. That is what a Qiran is essentially. You're doing an Umrah, just like you do in Tamattu. It's just like Tamattu, except that you don't break in between. You don't come out in between. So you go, you do a tawaf and a Umrah, a tawaf and a sa'i, finish your Umrah off, you stay in Ihram afterwards until the Hajj day comes, and then you do a tawaf al-Qudum. That's the extra part. You do a tawaf al-Qudum, one extra tawaf, which is sunnah, just before you go to Mina for your Hajj, and then you finish everything as normal. You then do the tawaf al-Ziyarah, the sa'i for Hajj, right? So ultimately you'll end up doing 2 sa'is. And you'll be doing 3 tawafs, actually 4. You'll be doing a tawaf for Umrah, you'll be doing a tawaf al-Qudum, which is extra. Then you'll be doing tawaf al-Ziyarah, which is the main one of Hajj. Then you'll be doing tawaf al-Wida when you leave, which everybody does anyway. So that's it. So Qiran is essentially just like Tamattu, except that you don't break your Ihram in between, and you do a tawaf al-Qudum, preferably because it's sunnah to do so, before you go to Mina for your Hajj. And then you carry on just as normal. So hopefully, inshallah, that's very clear now that is what Qiran is, especially in the Hanafi madhab, that is what Qiran is. Otherwise, the other one just seems like an Ifrad, and you just call it Qiran, you just give a dam at the end, and you call it Qiran. So that's not the one, inshallah. Jazakallah khairan, assalamu alaikum.
The point of a lecture is to encourage people to act, to get further, an inspiration, an encouragement, persuasion. The next step is to actually start learning seriously, to read books, to take on a subject of Islam and to understand all the subjects of Islam, at least at their basic level, so that we can become more aware of what our deen wants from us. And that's why we started Rayyan courses, so that you can actually take organized lectures on demand whenever you have free time, especially, for example, the Islamic Essentials course that we have on there, the Islamic Essentials Certificate, which you take 20 short modules, and at the end of that, inshallah, you will have gotten the basics of most of the most important topics in Islam, and you'll feel a lot more confident. You don't have to leave lectures behind. You can continue to leave, to listen to lectures, but you need to have this more sustained study as well. Jazakallah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.